Good morning, everybody. So today we are going to be tearing down a 2014 can't talk today. Can-Am Maverick 1000. It actually this thing's over. Has a hole in the case right there. I just bought this thing. Somebody JB welded it, and so what I'll be doing is I'm going to tear the transmission or gearbox, whatever you want to call it, apart, inspect it. I know I'm going to need a case, and why I got the motor out, because of how whoever worked on this thing did not have a brain at all. I'll just put it to you in those terms. So I'm going to tear down the motor and go over it. So when I plan to go out of state a couple times this summer and have fun on these things with the employees, and I don't want to be working on them all the time. So the real exciting part about today is my dad is actually coming down. You know, me and my dad tinker on stuff together all the time. You know, my background was racing motocross, and at one point I was at a professional level. And my dad was always my mechanic. He has been a mechanic for, shoot, we'll have to ask him today, but I'm gonna say every bit of 30, 35 years. Oh, maybe even longer than that. I don't know. I don't want to give away his age. But, you know, I've learned so much off of him. And, you know, now that I'm getting older in life, I wish I would have listened to him way more when I was growing up, like he always said, because I kind of was behind the 8 ball. I was a young kid, didn't want to listen. But I can remember my first dirt bike, him teaching me how to take the plastics off and doing some maintenance to it. And I think I was 5, 6, 7 years old at the time. So, but his background was motorcycles. You know, he did dabble in cars, but he was actually a head motorcycle mechanic for many, many years at a couple pretty big bike shops we got in our local town. And I kind of went in a different direction. I do more vehicle stuff. Excuse me, but and we've worked on a couple vehicles together, or well, a lot of vehicles together. But it has probably been every bit of 10 to 15 years since we worked on a motorcycle together. So, or a smaller engine. No, this ain't a motorcycle, smaller engine. So when I told him I had it out, he invited himself down. And I'm coming down and I'm going to help you. So I'm really excited about today. I'm actually going to have a camera rolling the whole time. Just because I want to be able to take it all in and be able to look back on this day. So, but yeah, we'll get to tearing this apart as soon as he gets here. I got a few things I need to get caught up on here in the garage, and when he gets here, we'll get to tearing this down.
Gonna watch our intake valves. Intake valves is open. Okay, and they're closed. Now we should have, not sure what the indicator is, should be a T mark.
I wonder.
Where is this? Okay, we're still a long way off from top dead center.
I wonder if that makes the T, these two lines on here going
I'll bet it will.
flat.
See, we're still coming up. And this is just for rough. Okay, we're at top dead center on the compression stroke. And look, and you'll see a 1 in there. And you're right. See, those there are parallel with the gasket surface here.
Yeah, so we're tearing this down. We're getting top dead center, just we're checking the timing in it before we tear it down. And if you look in there, you got a 1. And if you also look here with your gasket surface and your 2 marks on your cam gear. And then we also had a screwdriver in the spark plug hole to judge the height of the top dead center.
Okay. Now and this is also where you adjust the valve clearance at. Top dead center. Now we're going to look at the head. Initial look, doesn't look bad. When check around there for cracks. Of course, it'll all have to be cleaned up, and we'll quick check on the valves here a little later. Next thing I'd want to look at, notice the arrow on the piston?
Pointing towards the front of the motor.
Pointing towards the front. I mean, just for future reference. So you'll know if you change the pistons, which direction they go in. I believe these cam chain guides probably pull out of here. And maybe they don't. We'll take the head gasket off. And also, the head gasket could have a top and bottom. Maybe. I don't see a difference. Yeah, I mean, we'll get a new head gasket, but let's just go ahead and put a quick T on this, and if there's any question, we can spend some more time later trying to figure out. And actually what I like to do when I rebuild stuff, as I take it out, I set it down, so when you pick it up, you set it right back on. We won't be reusing that though. So, I thought these
That's kind
just
of
okay. Antifreeze.
That could be water.
Water.
Well,
yeah, this is air cooled. Yeah.
Water cold.
Okay. Again, I just pulled that out of there. See how that goes in there, and there's probably something in the bottom it goes in, but it just sets in there. So that goes up like that in the front.
One thing you want to do before you tear it down is break your cam loose, so that way it's easier to do when you have it on the bench.
And our other one, not sure. Okay, it didn't want to come out. So, okay, we want to check. We got 2 dowel pins here. Make sure they're not loose so they don't fall down the motor. If you can't get them out, that's fine. We'll leave them. So we're ready to pull the cylinder off. So good idea here. Have this piston at top dead center. We're going to lift the cylinder, which should, don't see any other bolts, do you? Mm-hmm. So let's take the soft hammer and just kind of tap it down a little bit. don't see. A lot of times these things will have little pry points, but I don't see that either. So I'll have to. Try here, like. Okay, now we'll just lift this, and then when we get it up here a little bit, we're going to stop and we're going to stuff rags underneath the piston. Not necessarily, since we're splitting the cases, it's real critical, but if there's a broken ring or something, it doesn't drop into the motor. So. We still don't have that. All right, see that goes underneath there, yeah. Okay. All right. Don't really have a ridge. That's good.
What's the crosshatch look like?
Well, it's really gone, but don't see any scoring. We'll have to clean it up and mic it and check it.
New.
Okay. Well, how's it look?
Initial glance, it looks good.
It looks good. I mean, it doesn't appear you got, and we'll take the piston off, but, well, I don't know, maybe not. We don't see any blow by. There's no coloration on the piston skirts. So, clearly the rings were probably sealing pretty good, which is good.
There's no movement in the wrist pin, so.
That's good.
And you check your movement in the wrist pin, you go up and down. You do have movement side to side. That's normal. And
right.
there's no up and down.
Yeah.
Best thing I do is put my hand there so you can hold the piston up tight and then try to wiggle it.
And that's also checking your rod bearing too.
Right.
And it moves smooth. Our skirts look good. I mean, you can see wear, but they aren't discolored from ring blow by. That's good. So.
Do you want to mark the ring orientation?
Well, no, I mean, we're going to put rings on it and stuff. I mean, it's kind of up in the air. We're not really working on the engine part. Issues are with the transmission, but so we could leave the pistons on. We're probably going to change rings. You're going to put a new set of rings in, but we'll have to mic the pistons, and I can really do that with them on the rods. So it's up to you whether you want to take the pistons off or not. Probably Wouldn't be a bad idea. We don't have to do it. We can do it later because probably need to inspect the wrist pins and stuff underneath there. So you'll have to take them off. But with all that said, we should be good. Look at that. Both rods on
long crankshaft.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we're done. Now we can do the other. Do you want to go ahead and pull the piston off, or you want to do it later?
I mean, I'm probably gonna put new.
You're going. Well, we need to do it.
I'm probably gonna put new pistons and.
So let's. Okay, got a clip in there. So let's get the rags back in here. In case the ring goes a flying. All right. Reach in there and. Wow, let's take a look at this. This looks different. Yeah. Interesting. Look at how that clip is. See how it's actually fits in the groove. It's not just a round clip.
You should be able to just.
Yeah.
Can you get that? Yeah.
Should be coming. I'll put your screwdriver right behind that thing now. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, it's going all the way back down. Geez.
Okay. And there it went. There it is.
That's way different than
It
normal
is.
ones.
See how it's got that?
Yeah, see, it's got a curve on it here at the end. It's a little bit different than most wrist pins. Don't ever, ever, ever reuse these. Shove this slide out of there. Maybe. There you got to pull both sides.
No, slide out this way. Should come out. It's probably just tight. They actually make a special tool, a wrist pin puller.
You just take a socket about that size and just kind of tap
We
it
can
out.
tap it, but the important thing is you don't want to put any side hits on the rod. So you need to support the piston, and hopefully this won't be tight. There. Yeah, it's gonna. Kind of just hold on the piston so that I'm not. Yeah, yeah, that comes out really pretty easy. That might. Okay.
There's been no nice scoring on it, so.
Looks good, but you know, we'll replace the pin, put a new pin in. But there's really no grooving, no scoring. Piston looks good. You can see the thrust side of the piston here. Got some wear on it. But nothing real bad. That's good.
So, didn't really explain this in the first part, but we'll go ahead and pull this cylinder off. We're gonna run it up the top dead center, and then we're gonna spin the cylinder around here, so that way it's easier to access. So we'll spin it around here. We've already you broke these.
No, we haven't yet. No. Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, you're right. I did.
Okay, so we broke the camshaft sprocket loose already. And so now let's break the head bolts loose.
Yeah, we'll take these out, and we also need to take our tensioner out.
Okay. Let's go ahead and pop the tensioner loose. I don't think we need to pop that out.
I don't either. We need to figure out how that works. I'm not sure. Some sort of a torsion spring. But I need to break these here.
You pop your tensioner out. And you always want to double check if you're doing anything other than this, but to make sure your bolts are all the same length. And if they're not, then you need to make sure you mark them. Kind of crisscross when you're breaking these loose. This just allows the head to come up equally. Instead of breaking that loose, and you're tweaking that head. Like this.
The other. Was zero on that pointing out too?
No, there's not. There's no marks on this
on
one.
the cap there.
Oh, on this?
Yeah.
No, there's nothing. So I'm wondering if it's pointing down. That's underneath of it.
I don't know if that matters, but we'll have to consult the manual.
this one's gonna come out.
Hmm?
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna have the clearance to, if it's as long as that one, I think it can come all the way out. We'll have to pull the cylinder first.
Yeah, it should. Twist it.
See, so you got, that's, so I'm gonna make sure we put that in before we put the cylinder on. Because you might be able to wiggle it out of there. Oh, no way, that's coming out. That's still 3/8 of an inch into there.
Okay, yeah, we'll figure it out later.
So note on this, your tensioner is just gonna have to dangle there until you get the cylinder off, and that's just something you'll have to remember when you put it back together. You're gonna have to just set it in there.
Maybe if we get the nut off there.
That nut don't come off, it's spring loaded. See, this one don't have orientation. The cylinder one had an orientation mark. So you had an arrow. But this one might. Still, you just might not be able to see it.
Definitely Loctite on these cam bolts. Cam chain gear bolts. Oh. This is interesting. This the cam gear is actually slotted. And notice it's not round. And the reason for that is you can actually dial in your cam timing precisely. Okay, let's break this loose again. I'm going to go ahead and finish pulling these bolts.
Head bolts are same size all the way around. They were like that on the passenger side, or not passenger, but cylinder one.
This here should hold there on that one. Hold that.
Hold on, let me break his cam loose. I'll just break the cam loose so it's easier to do now.
Let's grab some pliers. That should pull up out of there.
Pliers and needle nose.
Yeah.
I don't think that side did it?
Yeah, it did. Okay. Well, let's pull the head and see. Looks like maybe an indication, a little bit of water leakage.
But
Probably maybe from the head gasket. But
well,
maybe it just ran in there too.
Well, I also put this thing in my parts washer.
Oh, okay.
So that could be.
Okay, well, we'll go through the inspection on this later.
There is. That's probably from the screwdriver.
Probably. Getting our air on our piston. Okay. Oh, this is different. See, it pulls up out of there now. Okay. And that stays. So. A little bit more and then we'll get the towel. Looks like this needs a sleeve clears. We did have a water leak. Okay. And we'll take it. Just a hair more. Okay, now stuff the rags in there. There's no tensioner. Yeah.
So it's important to stuff rags in here before you pull the sleeve out from underneath the piston, or the sleeve off the piston in case any rings are broke. It wouldn't really matter. It don't really matter right now because we're going to split the cases on it anyways. But if you were just going to do piston and rings, it's real important to do in case the rings broke. That way it don't fall down the motor. And with the rust, it appears there was a water leak. Wouldn't that be your indication?
Well,
There ain't really a ridge there, but you take out just
yeah,
a little
I mean,
bit at
with
the
that
top.
and-
Could have been from where
it could have been some water you got in there when you were cleaning it. There isn't a lot. evidence you had a huge water leak, but we'll put new gaskets on. But you do have some rust there, so.
And this could be from where I put this whole motor in my parts washer, just to try to clean some of the grime off. So we didn't get it in the motor when we were tearing it down. We will completely go through this and clean everything. But we do have, look at this. That's plastic of some sort that was in where the tensioner goes.
Might have been a sealer. These have got like a little drain hole at the bottom.
That one.
Oh, that's how it works. This thing here screws in, then that's spring loaded to put the tension on it by twisting.
And that one does have an arrow on it.
It does.
And it was about clocked the same as that one.
Maybe when you screw that clear in and then that'll lock it or something. What? Look at the manual, figure it out. Okay. This, do you have a smaller screwdriver? Let's see that screwdriver you used.
This little guy. Okay.
We use this socket. Give me a little kiss here on this, just slightly. A little bit more.
How did the rod bearings feel?
I mean, up and down, doesn't seem to be any play. It's smooth. Again, this wrist pin looks good. We'll replace it in the clips. Really no sign of blow by. Alright, so we've got the top end off.
Taking the Magneto side cover off. This cover, we're making a template. Probably quite a few of these bolts are going to be different sizes. So that way when it goes back together, we know where they all go. What?
Jack's chasing me. Sit.
Yes, I wanted to ratio right because I think I spilt that down to there.
Ryder, I'm winning.
But we pour gas in here, or diesel fuel. And see, this is seeping a little bit. That's not bad. Probably needs carbon cleaned off of it.
Ryder, get Jax and tell him to stop. Stop!
But you can see it is leaking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Run over it.
So now we'll take his hair. Do you have something a little better to pour out of? Don't make such a mess.
So I'll fill that one up.
You have to stand up and then go hit your brakes in your head. Daddy, can we have one of those donuts?
Yeah.
Now see, it's still seeping.
Yeah. What things? Were these
Which,
donuts?
I mean, that's not bad, but it's not a good tight seal. So
I just got carbon in there.
What are you doing?
now, what you can do a lot of times is I just tap this with the soft hammer. Just sometimes if there's a little carbon or something, it'll seal up. But that is,
Didn't do right.
that's leaky. So where is the bucket at?
Oh, let me.
Roger, you can't hold a handful of them. Oh, God.
Well, you got a handful of them. You got just as many as her, dude.
I got two.
Okay. So now we'll check the intake valves same way. Good. Yeah.
Look, mine's real pinky over there. Look. Oh, we're not me.
Looks like it's starting to seep.
Yeah. I mean, it's just little leakies. I mean, not bad at all, though. But really, they shouldn't leak at all. Let's see.
It's underneath the valve cover back there. Or the.
Okay. Same thing. Don't see anything.
Daddy!
What?
Jackson's chasing me. Sit.
Yes, I wanted to ratio right because I think I spilt that down to there.
Ryder, I'm winning.
But we pour gas in here, or diesel fuel. And see, this is seeping a little bit. That's not bad. Probably needs carbon cleaned off of it.
Ryder, get Jackson, tell him to stop. Stop!
But you can see it is leaking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now we'll take his hair. You have something a little better to pour out of? Don't make such a mess. Get one of these open?
For cleaner? Yeah. There should be, yeah, right there by your side.
I want to, right? Now let's have it on the test. Now Willie Ryder.
So go fill that one up.
You have to stand up and then go hit your brakes and then head. Daddy, can we have one of those donuts?
Yeah.
Now see, it's still seeping.
Yeah. What day?
Which, I mean, that's not bad, but it's not a good tight seal. So
I just got carbon in there.
now, what you can do a lot of times is I just tap this with the soft hammer. Just sometimes if there's a little carbon or something, it'll seal up. But that is, that's leaky. So where is the bucket at?
Oh, let me.
Roger, you can't hold a handful of them.
Well, you got a handful of them. You got just as many as her, dude.
I got two.
Okay. So now we'll check the intake valves same way. Good. Yeah.
Look, mine's real pinky on there. Oh, we're not me.
Looks like it's starting to seep.
Yeah. I mean, it's just little leakage. I mean, not bad at all, though. But really, they shouldn't leak at all. Let's see.
It's underneath the valve cover back there. Or the...
Okay. Green thing. Don't see anything.